macroinvertebrates are insects that live in the water. Macro means they're small, but you can still see them with your naked eye. And invertebrate means that they don't have any bones on the inside. Some of them have an exoskeleton or shells on the outside, but they do not have any bones. So that's why they're called macroinvertebrates. And they live in the water. They like to live in a riffle like this where the water's running over rocks. And some of the macroinvertebrates are born and live in the water, but when they become adults, they come out of the water, sprout wings, and fly around. Some of them live in the water all the time. It just depends. And I'll be showing you some of both.
Good morning. I'm Laura Caldwell, and you know me from the other videos. I'm the Education Director at Friends of Caw Point Park. Today we're creekside and we're going to be testing water. We're going to be using these water monitoring kits from Lamont. And these are my assistants. This is Mershawn and Sahela. And we have already emptied the contents of this kit into the lid. Okay, we're going to seine for macroinvertebrates, and it's usually best to seine in a riffle, which is where this running water is. You really need to seine where there is maybe some vegetation. I've usually found quite a few macros in this area. But you'll also have this wash tub that's filled with water, a little ice cube tray. We have tweezers, so if we catch something, we can pull them out of there and put them in the ice cube tray. You'll also get a sheet like this that shows you the macroinvertebrates and how we identify them. It's two-sided. Okay, now the macroinvertebrates they're divided into three categories. The first category are the ones right here. They are very sensitive to pollution, so they're only going to live in really healthy water. The second group right here is somewhat tolerant to pollution, so they can live in water that has a little bit of pollution in it, and they can also live in really healthy water. The third group on the back here are very tolerant of pollution. So they can live in really extremely dirty water, but they can also live in somewhat clean and very healthy water. So so it just depends. If you catch some in this very sensitive to pollution category, you're going to know that the water is fairly clean. But if you only catch this group that are very tolerant of pollution, then that means probably the water is not in as good condition as we would like. What I have in here, this is a crayfish, and he actually is somewhat tolerant of pollution. He's the only one. The bigger they're like little lobsters, so the big crayfish do have pinchers that can pinch you, but none of the others bite or do anything like that. Oh, there's the other guy. No? Okay, so that's a crayfish. These are very sensitive to pollution. These are Dobson fly larvae. And so they will only live in really healthy water. The crayfish will live in both somewhat healthy water and healthy water. The Dobson fly larva actually turns into an insect that flies. The crayfish always lives in the water. Okay, you ready? This guy right here is a fish fly larva, right here. And then he's somewhat sensitive to pollution.
Then right here along the edge are leeches. They are very tolerant of pollution. So you'll catch them in about any water. See if I can get him to squirm. Not really. But these are pretty interesting, aren't they? Let's see. There he goes. Good. Okay, this is a damselfly nymph. Look, and he usually has 3 tails. This guy only has 1, maybe 2, but he's definitely, you can see he looks like that. Now, damselfly nymphs turn into an insect that flies. They are usually about maybe an inch, inch and a half long. They're blue, green, or brown. When you're at a lake, if you've ever had one of those land on your arm, a lot of people will call them dragonflies, but they're not. They're damselflies. These two are very sensitive to pollution. This is a mayfly nymph, and this is a stonefly nymph. So they both, when they become adults, will sprout wings and fly around. Now, mayflies are little yellow insects that usually are about a half an inch to an inch long. When you're at the lake, you might, when they hatch, hundreds will hatch, and you'll see a whole bunch of them. But if you've ever been to the lake and seen these little yellow flying bugs, that's a mayfly nymph. And the nymph is very sensitive to pollution, as is the stonefly nymph, which is right there. Okay. These teeny tiny guys are riffle beetles. And they are very, very sensitive to pollution. There's one there and one over here. But this guy's still moving around. Very sensitive to pollution, pretty tiny. But they're riffle beetles. Okay, I have 3 macroinvertebrates in here. All of these always live in the water. This first one is a mussel or a clam shell. There's not a live mussel or clam in there, but we got him. It's obvious they are in where we collected. This guy right here is a pouch snail, and he's living. And then this guy right here is a spiral snail. You can see his shell kind of spirals around where this one doesn't. The snails are very tolerant of pollution, so they'll live in healthy or dirty water. And the mussels and clams usually are somewhat tolerant to pollution.
So, okay, you guys, I want you to watch what I do, and then you come and sing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here, and I want the water going through my net. So but I want to hop it along the bottom, and you might want to just disturb the rocks in front of it, because that's where the little bugs are usually under the rocks. I might have something in there, but come on out here. Let's do some seining. Okay, so you guys turn around the other way. You gotta have the water running through your net. So you're just gonna go like this, and then maybe disturb the rocks in front of you. Just kick them up a little bit in front of your net. Marshawn, you gotta go. You've gotta.
Oh, I got one. I got a really big one.
Oh, good.
Well, I don't know if it's in there. It is.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Oh!
Stop. I can't even see it.
Yeah, I want you to look. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but he's pretty good.
Got it.
Okay. Come on over here. He's on this page. What did you catch?
A crayfish?
A crayfish. Okay, let's put him in the water. And then we're going to also do this, because you might have caught some other things that you don't know. Here, hold this, and I'm going to put my net in. Let's see your net. I don't think, well, you might have something in there. You just flip it through and then put it in the water. Okay, now we need to look. Do we see anything else swimming around in there?
No, not really.
Sometimes they're hard to see. They're real little.
He's so cool.
Yeah, isn't he neat? Okay, let's go out and sing again.
Okay.
Now remember that the water needs to go through the net. Oh, look what I found. I found another big crayfish, but I can't get him. Ah, got him.
Oh, wow.
Look at this guy. You know, the only thing that will bite you is a crayfish if their pinchers are big enough. He couldn't get anything around your finger, so he's not going to get you. Oh, Sahela, do you still have the? We know we've caught some. That we know there are mussels.
Yeah.
In this, because we already clams and mussels, and we found a spiral snail too.
Oh, we did, yeah. The little flower maybe?
When you bounce this up and down, that you're getting, that makes the bugs sometimes come up. Okay.
It's heavy inside too, you can tell. What does it eat?
Yeah, turn it over and over.
What do clams?
A live shell fish. Is that a mussel?
I think it's a clam.
Clam?
Or it might
Live
be a mussel.
clam.
Live mussel, live clam.
Now just let it sit there. Okay.
I think that it would be really good for people my age to do this because it's just not really something that's just open. It's not that common. I think it's pretty cool. It was really cool to experiment.